got some good and bad news thanks to massive leaks that just happened. One revealed a brand new Marvel game that could be really awesome, but also another Disney project that is not doing too well. Is Sony really buying this publisher? And we also have more leaks, including for a release date of an upcoming 2022 game that I can't wait for. So a ton to go over. Of course, if you like these big rumor and news roundup videos, then don't leave a like, that would really help me out, and subscribe, because every Sunday I post a big video like this. Maybe you already heard about it, but a new Black Panther open world video game seems to be in development. This according to Jeff Grubb on his morning show for Giant Bomb. He of course has a really good track record, making it very believable. He notes that the game starts with Black Panther being dead, and that we as the player have to take on challenges to in the end become the new Black Panther. But he's not sure if we as the player are T'Challa or a different character that we maybe even create ourselves. High chance that, just like with the other Marvel games, this will be in a separate universe from the MCU. So we will have to wait and see what they do. And worth noting is that this information comes from the pitch. So things could of course change, but the fact that there's a Black Panther game in development seems at least to be true. And I think that would be really awesome. You already see some Marvel's Avengers footage here. You can say what you will, but the short story section really showed that a AAA Black Panther game could, for one, be very beautiful, like it would be amazing to explore Wakanda and maybe different regions. The outfits we see in Avengers really show that there could be a ton of customization in this game, and of course playing as Black Panther will be amazing. He's super fast, agile, he has cool melee but also ranged moves, and we will likely expand upon this even more. The project is called Rainier, which is likely because of Mount Rainier, the highest mountain in Washington, southeast of Seattle, as the studio that is making this game is a brand new Seattle-based studio from ex-Monolith VP Kevin Stevens, and yes, he has a deal with EA to make this Black Panther game. Now, I don't think we should immediately write it off, like with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and also Star Wars Squadrons that was surprisingly good. EA really has shown that it can release games without microtransactions, but with a focus on a good story instead. And the upcoming Dead Space remake is another example of that. Jedi Fallen Order was the second best-selling game of the last 12 months since its release. It's only behind Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which was wild. It reached 20 million players a year and a half after launch, and this showed EA that not everything has to be a live service game to make a ton of money. Like, they got Apex, Sims, FIFA, and whatever Battlefield is these days. So next to that, they're investing in full-priced experiences that you can just finish and walk away from, like Jedi Survivor and also the upcoming Dragon Age and Mass Effect game. The action-adventure space is a hugely important genre in our industry and to us at EA, but if you really think about it, right now they're kinda lacking a big title in that genre. So that's why they're funding the studio from the former Monolith Productions VP that oversaw the release of Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. So really has experience with these types of games. As you might know, I in particular love Shadow of War, so having some of the talent now work on the Black Panther game, it could be really awesome. We will have to wait for a long time though, as the studio got announced a year ago, so I think we're looking at 2026 at the earliest, if I'm being realistic, and anything can of course happen during that time. Like, I want to remain hopeful, even though this upcoming story once again shows that it can easily go sideways. But before we touch on Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, I quickly want to give you an update on Hogwarts Legacy, because there's more hope that we actually get a release this year. First, the art book for the game namely had a placeholder date, December 31st, 2022, which it by the way still has in the US, but in the UK they changed it to December 6th out of nowhere, with people who already pre-ordered the book at Amazon UK also getting emails that it should arrive on that day. Now, usually art books do not launch before the game is out because they can of course contain spoilers, and what we actually see for Gotham Knights, another Warner Bros. Game, is that the book is releasing on October 25th, which is the exact same day that the game comes out as well. So this makes December 6th for Hogwarts Legacy even more likely, also because it's a Tuesday, which again is the same as Gotham Knights, but also LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga and Back 4 Blood, other Warner published titles, released on a Tuesday. And I also would argue that it's the final possible date to still benefit from the Christmas sales, so I think it makes sense they're aiming for that. And if that's true, I think the leaked 72-hour early access is not happening anymore, as that would then begin on a Sunday, which is kind of a weird launch time for a single player game. So yeah, December 6th seems to be the date, but keep in mind that things can change, and that perfectly leads us to the next story. Maybe remember at the PlayStation Showcase in September last year that we got the first teaser trailer for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the remake, that was gonna be a PS5 timed exclusive. It right now has been in development for 3 years at Aspyr, and they were ready to present a vertical slice of the game to Lucasfilm and Sony, so basically a small part of the project that they completely polished up to reveal what the end product could be. So the developers were excited, but a week after the presentation, Aspyr out of nowhere fired the design director and the art director on the game. And then after that, the Aspyr's studio heads told staff that the vertical slice wasn't there where they wanted it to be, and that the project would be paused. Again, this was a shock to developers who seemingly thought that they were doing well, but turns out that Aspyr told staff and partners that it would release the game by the end of 2022, according to 2 people familiar with the production. Developers said a more realistic target now would be 2025. Wow, what a story. It always kind of felt ambitious for a studio known for ports of older Star Wars games to other platforms, including mobile and Switch, to then suddenly make a high-end PlayStation 5 game, let alone a remake, which requires way more resources and different skills than making things run on other hardware. So yeah, this doesn't sound good, but we should not give up on the project just yet. In May, Embracer announced that Saber Interactive would also join the project. Some Aspyr believe that Saber, which has mainly been doing outsourcing work for the project, may take it over completely. And Saber is the studio behind the pretty well done Switch port for The Witcher 3, they remastered the Crysis games, also did World War C, the game, and most recently the Evil Dead game, which is pretty decent, looking at the reviews, sitting at a 72 on Metacritic with a higher user score. I have more faith that they can make it work, because they also worked on it a bit already, but yeah, this will of course mean that if they indeed take it over, we will not see this project for a very long time. So Sony has to look elsewhere for their games. They of course got a ton coming, including a lot of Square Enix titles, and maybe those studios will one day be PlayStation studios. Like, we got a ton of rumors that Sony was looking to acquire Square Enix. We heard rumblings from Greg Miller, Jeff Grubb heard it as well, again very reliable, and now this week the founder from Eidos Montreal, who left in 2013, said that Sony would really like to have Square Enix within their wheelhouse. I heard rumors that Sony said they're really interested in Square Enix Tokyo, but not the rest. So I think the Square Enix CEO put it like a garage sale. That was always the sort of takeaway when Square Enix sold most of its biggest IP, including Tomb Raider and Deus Ex, to Embracer Group for just $300 million. So that is next to Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and that mobile studio they had. Like, we always thought, why do that? Well, because they were like getting rid of that stuff that Sony did not want, or other maybe people that wanted to acquire them, and now they're maybe a way better target. With Sony of course being the most likely candidate, a lot of the big titles are PlayStation 5 exclusive anyways, and Jim Ryan said that even after Bungie, they're going through with the acquisitions. Now of course, Square Enix also launched a lot of Switch titles, so I'm curious what will happen with those. Maybe that will just continue if this deal eventually happens, if of course it's still a rumor. And I also think that Sony looks at Final Fantasy XIV and is like, we want like more live service games, so we need the experience from that team. That's also one of the main reasons why they bought Bungie. Like, let's not forget that Sony plans to have 10 live service games by 2026. And I'm sure we will see some of them during an upcoming Sony showcase. I really hope that we see a big, not state of play, but like the next level event in September, just like we had the 2 previous years. And with PlayStation VR 2 happening likely early 2023, and the fact that we really don't know what's gonna happen after God of War Ragnarok, apart from Insomniac games, like, what is happening? What can we expect? I really think they have to do a showcase, especially because we kind of know what Microsoft will be releasing in the coming years. So it's gonna be very interesting. Of course, when we know more, I'll report it here in the Sunday videos. Thanks to everyone who, by the way, participated in the survey. I will still leave it in the video description for if you want to help the channel and if you missed it the first time around. Yeah, already implementing some things, and of course, yeah, really appreciate you taking the time. Subscribe for more of these Sunday videos. A like on the video would, of course, really help me out. And there were also GTA rumors, GTA 6, yeah, pretty legit, Jason Schreier stuff. You can check it out by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.